I'm mixing in the white project color, you know, just to tint the buttercream a little, to show a difference between the main body Can you see me now? This is the girl's dress, and I'm going to be stroking just to show the plate design on the dress. So I'm showing okay. Hope you all can see what I'm doing. Try to work on the dress to show the girl. I'm still going to add a little bit of black to that dress, just a little of gray. Okay. Now for the top of the dress, I'm going to use a teal color. I'll just add it to the white already made, just a little, to show the top of the dress. Okay, so I'm going to do the top of the dress now. The top, I'm going to dab. Just to show a different effect. I know that the video was interrupted, so I'm going to recap on what I said earlier. You know, the dress, I said I was going to stroke, you know, with the palette to show you a cropped effect on the dress. But for the top of the dress, I'm going to be dabbing to show a different texture. You know, a gown cannot have the same design up, you know, for what I'm doing. The top is going to be something like a lace-like, and that's why I'm dabbing, to show you that effect. Okay, I'm going to stop here at the sleeve for now. Okay, now I want to create the body of the girl, and I'm using a chocolate brown that I'm going to tint with white. Just a little. Okay, I think this skin tone is okay for her. She's an African queen. Okay, so I'll outline the hands first, because she's going to hold a bouquet to show she's in the garden. That's it. Hope you all are seeing what I'm doing. I'll do outline the neck now. Now this neckline, I'm going to give her a cape so that you know there's a demarcation between the neck and the blouse she's wearing. But I'm still doing the skin now. I'm going up to the face. Hi everyone, my name is Obianuju Arinze. I am coming live to you from Lagos, Nigeria, from my studio UJ Cakes and More. The time here is 6 a.m. in the morning. Good morning everyone. Today I'm going to show you how I made this garden inspired palette painting technique with Swiss Meringue Buttercream, topped with freehand cut wafer paper flower. Now let's get started. In this tutorial, I'll be using these tools. I have the artist palette knife, and I have a 6 inches cake neatly covered in Swiss Meringue Buttercream that will be my canvas for today. The tools I'm going to be using are these: the artist palette knife, and I'm going to use only one of these. Then I'm going to be using the acrylic disc. That will be where I'll be mixing my cream and colors. Then I have these wonderful colors. A project color, you know. This is all I'm going to be using. These project colors are made from an indigenous Nigerian company, Dream Food Africa. Those are what I'm going to be using. I have about 7 of them I'm going to be using this morning to achieve the white flower effects that I have. Then I have the silhouette cutter. I'm going to use this to create the girl in the garden. Then the kitchen towel where I'll be wiping my palette. So I'll start immediately by, that's my Swiss Meringue Buttercream. So So I'm going to just put some quantity on my acrylic disc to mix my colors. So I'll start with this. I'm going to start with the darkest color here, and that is the forest green. I'll just put a drop. Okay. And I'll mix it. Swiss Meringue Buttercream, I love so much because of its soft and luscious butter flavor. It has, it holds well at room temperature. The addition of shortening provides added strength to the frosting and also whitens it. I love using this since I discovered this. It's easy to work with also. Okay, I think I'll add more green because I want a dark soft color. Okay. I hope you all can see what I'm doing. I'm going to work with just this spatula, number one, to achieve all the designs. So I'm going to start immediately. Just take a little buttercream and I start from this point. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'll just, okay, let me turn it so that you can see me. Just take a little and I dab just to create the wild flower shrubs around the girl. I go to the other side. I'm just dabbing it with the tip of the spatula. I'm going to add a little pro gel color on my disc. I'll just dab and I'll mix into the cream just to have some green effect. Just dab and I move. Before I continue, I will just go around the cake to create the white flowers, the shrubs. So this time I'm going to be stroking up with the side of my spatula. I hope you all can see what I'm doing. I don't know. You'll see when I turn it. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm using the side and the tip of the palette knife to create an impression of a tall grass, or you can call it shrub. You know, the white flowers that grow by the side. That's what I'm creating here. Maybe I should move it a little bit so that's okay. I'll add the electric green to create a contrast to the green, to the leaf green I initially did. So I'll just dab a little of this, take a little of the buttercream to mix it. So I go back again. So, and I'm trying to create a gazebo kind of effect with the little girl standing in the middle. Can you see what I just did? Okay. So I'll show you hope you're seeing what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing here. I'm going to mix a white color to contrast these colors. Can you see? I'm going to use white now so that it will contrast the to highlight the green. Always clean the colors from your palette so that you don't mix up. Take a little and go in there. Okay, so that you see what I'm doing. Just go in there to add a little contrast. add a little green to it too. I'll mix the electric green and the leaf green together, you know, to create the effect so that the white will come out. From this point now, I'm going to stop at the point where I'll fix the wafer paper flowers. You can see what I'm doing. Can you see? See, okay, you can see the girl in the garden already impressed at the middle. Can you see? Okay, okay, so I continue. I'll mix a little yellow to complete the white flowers. So I'll drop the Pro Gel yellow on my board and I mix it. So I'm going to finish up. You're going to see this time I'm adding the yellow to create the white flower effect. And I'm doing that with the tip of my spatula. And just tap, 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 tap. You have it there. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Can you see it? Just a little. Dab, 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 dab. Just a dab. You know, keep moving. Dab, dab, dab. Depends on how high you want it. And they don't have to all be on equal side. You can see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, so let me move. Okay, I'll walk from here. Can you see me now? Okay, so I dab with the tip of my spatula to have my white flower effect. Can you see it now? What I'm doing? Dab, dab, dab. Now this can go as high as you want it. Dab. I hope you all seen what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. Hope you all saw what I did. I'm done with this. So I'm going to add the buttercream to I will now outline the little girl in the garden with the buttercream, and I'll start with the dark color, which is just I'm going to use black for this, with just a little. I'll just tint it to a gray. That's what you saw there on the picture. Just a little. Now for the little girl's dress, I'm not dabbing this time. I'm going to stroke. I just take a little of the black, just to add an outline. Can you see me? Sorry for the interruption. What's happening?
Wait, just wait.
Can you see me now? Sorry for the interruption. I think it's due to the network here. Okay, so I'm going to give her the bouquet, and I'm using the green to start, to create an effect of her holding the bouquet. I'll start this one. So these are the flowers. Okay, so I'll use my black to add an effect of a shoe on her legs. I'll create the leg effect down here. Okay, I think our girl is ready. So now I'm going to show us how I do the wafer paper flowers. Okay, you have questions for me to answer before I continue? Ratio of shortening added to the buttercream, 10%. Okay, for this Swiss Meringue buttercream, I used 600 grams of butter to 150 grams of shortening. That's what I used. No, this cake is not frozen. This was kept at room temperature. The cake I'm using to do this is at room temperature. You can see that it's soft, you know. You can see it. I hope I've answered your question. Can you see what? That's the girl. And she's in the garden. By the time I finish it up, you see exactly what it will look like. That's it. So I'll quickly show us how I do the wafer paper flowers. This is wafer paper here. I hope you can see me. This is wafer paper. It has the rough side and the smooth side. Now for the flowers I used on this cake, I did a freehand cut. What I mean by freehand cut is that, you know, I didn't use cutout from anywhere. I just cut freely. That's what I mean. I'm not going to use a template for this, but you can freely download from the internet templates to do your wafer paper flowers. But this one I'm going to cut freely. Now I have some offcuts here. I don't waste any. What I do is when I use wafer paper, I cut out what is supposed to be waste. Then the small pieces like this, I melt them because I use it as gum. That's what I do. When you soak it in water, it turns to gum, and that's the gum I use to this. So what I do now, for this, I'm going 1 to 3 to 5 to 7, depending on what you're creating. So for this one, I'm going to just cut it freely and show you, and I'll show you what I do. I've already, now for this is what I'm going to cut. You have the small, you have the medium size. So this is what I have here. Because it's a freestyle flower, it's no particular flower. This is what I have here. Now for this, I'm not going to have a smaller one. I'll just use this as it is. I also make use of now I use this also, gum paste. This already have done to dry. I also make use of this, you know, for my, you know, to hold it. So to do the wafer paper, this is what I do. I make use of veiners for the flowers. If I'm going to do a rose flower with a I use the rose veiner, or you can also use a universal veiner. Then you dry it up in your flower former. I use this. I also use this wilting flower former if I'm going to do a leaf, you know. So I'm going to take this and I'll just add a little water to the bowl, just some droplets, don't need much, and a little glycerin, edible glycerin, just a drop or two is okay, and I'll add a drop of color. Now if I'm going to make it all white flower, I just add a little drop of white, you know, just to brighten it. I add a little bit of white, but since I want to show color, I'll just drop just a drop of yellow, depending on how deep you want the color. You know, for flowers, if I'm doing more than, I'm building a flower just like rose flower, I start from a very light color and I graduate to a dark one. So it's always advisable to start with a light color mix and graduate. And I'm going to use my pastry brush. Now for this one, it's going to be yellow. I'll add a little more water to it just to paint it. It's a dark hue I'm making. So I also use corn. Let me show you. I'm going to drop some corn flour on my work surface. I use the makeup brush to dab my, you know, what do you call it now? Wafer paper. I use the makeup brush to dab my corn flour on the wafer so that it doesn't stick. You know, wafer paper is potato starch, and when it comes in contact with water, it sort of melts. So I'll start immediately to show you exactly what I do. So I'm going to do that. I'll remove excess water so that it doesn't. So I'm going to paint directly, you know, on the wafer paper now. Hope you can see me. Okay. I'll dab the cornstarch on it so that I'll be able to work with it. If not, the wafer paper will just stick to the paper, and I'll turn it and add to the other side. Now you can see I didn't wire this because I'm going to stick it directly to the board I showed you. That's when it is dry. Okay, so that's what you have here. I place it on my mat, sorry, on the veiner, and I vein it just to add some life to it. This is the veiner I like to use. You know, if it's a freehand cut, you can see the lines there. So for this, I'm going to put it here. I'll just leave it like this to dry here. Or I have some flower formers that I did myself. I just used some plastic spoons and wired them on a cardboard, then taped it on my cake board. I also dry my wafer paper flowers here, or even gum paste flowers here. You know, so I'll do another one for those. turn. The rough side is the side I use as the front of the flower because of the texture. You know, the rough side, it adds life to the flower. So I vein. You can see it, and I allow to dry. Now this is the freehand. You can see what I did here. You allow it to dry before you fix to the board. Now if I was going to do a defined flower, what I'm going to do is that I'll wire. I use a florist wire 26 gauge, and I'll cut to size. Then I'll cut out just a little, a strand of wafer paper. Okay. So if this were going to be a rose I'm going to build, I usually use templates for that. And I'll come to the edge here just to give it a cut. That's a small V at the tip of the wafer paper. You know. Okay. So now remember we said we have the rough side and the smooth side. For this I'm going to place the wire at the back of the smooth side. That's the back of my flower. So I'm just going to add a little gum. Let me use another brush. This is what I'm using. I'm using the gum made from the wafer paper. I just add a little on the paper and I place it here. My gum, you know, just to cover the wire. I'm using a white florist wire so that it will not show, and that's the way it's going to be before I now add the water to it. What I have here is water, a drop of glycerin, and color, the project color. That's what I have inside here. You know, that's the way I color my wafer paper flowers. Okay, so you dab with the corn flour, you flip over and you add, you add the water and color to it. Okay, and you dab again with cornstarch. This is for you to be able to work with it. Now for this, I'm going to, let me use this, the rose veiner, to do this so that you see. To give you the rose effect. So for this, I'm going to use this. Remember I told you I use this to dry, and I place it here to dry. You know, when it comes out, it will give you the rose effect. Okay, so I'll complete this now. You can see this is already drying. You can see it's already drying, you know. So I'll do another one. and you flip over. Now for the, if it was a rose I'm building up, for the last layers of the rose, I won't just stop at veining. I'm going to texturize with the veining tool, and I'm also going to, you know, kind of roll the tips, both sides of the tips of the rose, to give it that real rose effect, rose petal effect. The same way if I'm going to do the leaves, you know, if I'm doing the leaves, I use the leaf veiner, not flower now, to do that. So hope you can see what I'm doing. You can see how beautiful it comes out. See all the vein, the natural flower vein on it. Okay, so if I'm going to do different colors, this is how I build it up, and I like to dry a little bit before I place on the board. I made this in advance, so because it's not yet dry, I can't place it now. If you do, it will flip over, except you're going to dry it, turn down. But because I want my flowers to be open, I allow the petals, you know, to dry before placing it on this. You know, let me just show you. For this, I'm not going to leave it all white. I'm just going to paint it, you know, and I like to dry also, you know. I'll add a touch of green to it to, you know, to show the image of pollen and bud, you know, natural flower bud. Because my time will soon be up, I'll show you the one I have done and wired. And this is what I'm going to use this morning to, you can see what I did. I hope you can see it. This is the one I have done and wired, and I taped it together with the leaves. These are all wafer paper flowers with gum paste boards, or every one of them. You can also create a board with wafer paper, you know, but I'm not doing that this morning. Can you all see it? Now for the drop flowers and the boards at the tip, I tried using gum paste flowers to create this. So I'm going to fix it to, I'm going to fix it now to the flower. I'm going to finish up my flower because my time will soon be up. Okay. So for this, I'm going to fix it. Remember I said I'm going to stop here, and this is where I'm going to fix it. I taped it to my lollipop stick because I'm inserting it into a cake, and this will come here. I hope you all can see what I'm doing. So it's firmly, I'm putting this here. Okay. You see, I've created the gazebo effect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build up. I'm going to build up my flower now, you know, to the point where I fix it, so that you won't notice. I hope you can see me. I'm building it up now so that you won't notice where I fix. Okay. Build this up too. That's my girl with a bouquet of flower in the garden. Can you see it now? So you can top up with your happy birthday topper. You can edge the bottom if you want, you know. Yes. So it depends on how you want to fix it, you fix it, and that's what you have there. You said what? Wire one. Is it dry? It's not really dry, but let me just show you what I do. I'm going to start, but it's not. These are florist tape here, so I'm going to use the white one. You can see me. I hold them so that it doesn't. Okay. Can you see what I'm doing? This, I'm going to use this. Now, you know, all these are not dry yet. I start here. Cover my wire with the tape, you know. Can you see what I'm doing? For somebody that asked, can I quickly wire? Now I use the gum and I rub here. That's the gum I made from the wafer paper. These are not dry yet, so it will drop when I place them. But this is how I place them. Just hold it here. Can you see it? I just place it. You can see it's not dry, so it's going to drop. Just hold it there. Now, the way it is, if I were to be in a hurry and I'm doing this, I'll just place it and turn it upside down somewhere to be drying, and I'll add the next one. You can see what I'm doing. Just the way, you know, if you know how to do gum paste flowers, the way you build up your flowers, that's what I'm doing. You add another one. It's still not dry, but can you see what I just did? You know, so you turn it upside down to dry if you're in a hurry. Can you see what I've just done? Okay, so that's how you do all. Then you now build up, you know, the way we build up gum paste flower, that's where you build up the bouquet. Can see it. That's my flowers on the cake already. Can you all see what I just did? So you can now put your happy birthday topper or whatever topper you want to put on it. You know, that's what I did. Okay. Do you have questions I can quickly answer now before my time is up? Questions, questions, questions. If you have questions, I'm here to answer. Thank you all that joined in this broadcast. Thank you for watching. And I want to appreciate the International Cake Exploration Society 2020 Expo, Virtual Expo. I want to appreciate every one of you, the admin, all ISIS members, for this privilege and opportunity given me to stream live today, August 1, 2020. You know, thank you all for this great opportunity. If you have any question, I still have time to answer. I am here. Have any question? Do we have any question coming on? If you don't have any question, I'll be signing out. Jennifer, you saying anything? This is a Swiss meringue buttercream covered cake with wafer paper flowers. That's my little girl in the garden. What's the question? The wafer glue. You just soak your wafer, you know, these pieces of the wafer papers. You soak it into a bowl or a cup. That is what you have here. Just leave it maybe overnight and it will get to this. Water and wafer paper. That's all I have here. That's what I use to stick all my wafer paper flowers. So I'll be signing out. Thank you all for joining. See you some other time.